We've got Mr. Tom Vadakan, spokesperson of the Congress party, here in the studio with us. Shaina NC of the BJP joins us. M.A. Baby of the CPM will be joining us shortly, and Nija Chaudhary joins us as well. Nija, I'll ask you that first. How much damage is this going to do to the Congress in Kerala?
I think it has raised question marks. The timing of it is curious. It shows that the poll battle is now underway. Kerala goes to the polls in a couple of months, 2, 3, 4 months. And but yes, to make those charges is not a very happy situation against the Chief Minister of the state, a Chief Minister who's been known for his clean image so far. Of course, the High Court has stayed it, so it's one court's order versus the other. You can argue that, and
it's been stayed for a couple of months, that too. So let's see how it goes from here.
Let's see how
it is
there's more evidence, and of course, somebody who is accused in this case and in other cases is making those charges, and yet at the level of public perception, these things do have a tendency to stick in people's minds.
So I'll take that to Mr. Vadakan. Mr. Vadakan, why shouldn't Mr. Chandy step aside until the probe is over? Let his name be cleared if he has done no wrong, but let him step aside, because in the past, Congress leaders, even when accusations have been levelled against them, have either been asked to resign or have stepped aside, whether it was Ashwini Kumar or Pawan Bansal.
Well, what is happening in Kerala is about a man who has got cameras in his room. This is closed circuit camera, and which you can go into the particular site and see his office 24/7. This is perhaps the first Chief Minister in this country who's transparent through these cameras that are there. And the charge against this man, the Chief Minister of Kerala, whose political career stretches to decades and has no charges against him. Here's a lady who has 30 cases against her. 30 cases. And who are the parties who have filed cases? Not the government of India, not the Kerala government. These are independent businessmen who have been cheated by her. She's been to jail. Her partner, Baiju Radhakrishnan, I think is the name, has been also in jail for reasons of murdering his wife, and they both have organized this racket, and these two conmen are today creating turbulence in the state of Kerala. Let me add this. There is a statement which you showed visually, the translation of which is left had bribed, said that they would bribe her to the tune of 10 crores. I repeat the figure, 10 crores. This is in public domain. That is a Kerala channel that showed it, and there's also documentation in India Today's April edition 2014.
But why should we believe that part? And I mean, look, if you're saying she's a con artist, right? Either she's a con artist who's lying about, you can't selectively decide that she's lying about Mr. Chandy and telling the truth about the left giving her 10 crores, right?
Her credibility is in doubt. We are not...
Fine. And I will ask the left about that. But the fact is, Mr. Vadakan, that this entire trail has led up to the Chief Minister's office. 3 of Mr. Chandy's aides have lost their jobs as a result of this, including his PA, including another assistant and a security guard. So this led right up to the CM's office. There are call records that show conversations between Sarita Nair and officials in the Chief Minister's office. So it's not that, that she's just making it all up. There is a link somewhere.
See, be what it may as to the link, I am not denying there is telephone indication. Anybody, as I said, in public domain has an office staff who could be interacting with the public. And here's a man who's 24/7 open house. I mean, you go to his residence, his family is not there, he's all around surrounded. This man is not bothered about his family. He's looked after the state as family member, and today this lady comes in, and what is the High Court jet?
His personal assistant had to,
what does the High Court jet say?
No, what about his assistant?
This is a mechanical order.
No, what about the assistant? Then why did the assistant lose their job?
They have been checked out. What more do you want? Whenever he is discovered...
Is that enough? Is that enough when it's such a serious probe? Aren't you dealing with a battle of perception as well, like Nirja said? That doesn't propriety demand that he step down till this investigation is over?
Perception does not mean that you surrender truth and an honest Chief Minister. We find him totally honest, a man who's connected with people.
But
just because a lady makes an allegation, he is taken corrective action, he sacked them. And what more
But-
could he do?
but there is a probe
he has
underway.
not received any remuneration or has any connect with this accusation.
Well, all right. Let me first get Shaina into this. Shaina, the BJP is also now part of the protest we see there in Kerala. Now, in the past, we've seen, you know, when there were accusations against BJP chief ministers only last year, whether it was Sushma Swaraj or Vasundhara Raje or Shivraj Chauhan, and you know various scams from Vyapam to Lalit Modi, nobody resigned there. And, you know, the Congress, everyone sort of exchanged roles. The Congress was demanding their resignations then, is saying now Mr. Chandy won't resign. You're demanding Mr. Chandy's resignation now. But those who have been accused under your regime won't resign. So, where do we go from here?
Nidhi, I think that the Congress is in total denial mode. Please do understand that they are suggesting that the Kerala Chief Minister has no reason to resign, but at the same hand, at the same point, the Congress High Command is demanding a report from him. So what does it suggest? Mr. Tom Vadakan very selectively said that, you know, the left is trying to bribe Ms. Nair, but I want to say that if at all she's the one who's bribed Mr. Chandy from the reports. And I think that there are 10 substantiated allegations.
I need to counter
this is not the first time. In Himachal as well, we have seen how the Congress has acted. If there has been why shouldn't the Congress act against Mr. Chandy if there is substantiated evidence to suggest that this solar panel scam is not just limited to one Nair or her partner. There are lots of industrialists who have come on board to suggest that they have given monies to his government, to his officials, and if those officials are now choosing to turn a blind eye to all that has transpired, I can only say let law take its course. And this is not about perception, this is the reality. So the perception could be something that the Congress wants to create and suggest that, you know, everyone is after him. But I think that the vigilance with which citizens have come forward and spoken about a chief minister in itself shows that they have the courage of conviction to stand up for what they believe in and what they have gone
Okay,
through.
Tom
And
Vadakan
there
wants
is
to
ample
rebut.
evidence to choose.
But you didn't
Shaina,
answer it.
unfortunately, you have not understood what she has said in Malayalam. She says very clearly, it's not Tom Vadakan who said that. It was the lady Sarita Nair who says on record, on public domain, she says that yes, left offered me money and the amount mentioned is 10 crores.
And she has also said that she has bribed 1.9 crore to the CM's close aide and 40 lakhs to the power minister. Would you want to react to that too?
Shaina, where is the evidence? What has the High Court judge said? He said the judge at the lower court has acted mechanically without having any evidence whatsoever. What more do you want? If the High Court judge feels the FIR must be quashed.
It didn't say quashed, it said stayed. It stayed for 2 months. There's a difference.
It asked them to inquire into it.
Yeah, so there is still an inquiry.
They said mechanical.
No. Firstly, it's a temporary stay. It's
Okay.
not a quashing. B, there is a probe on. I asked you an earlier question that if Pawan Bansal could resign based on an allegation, Ashwini Kumar could resign based on an allegation, Shashi Tharoor could do that based on an allegation, Natwar Singh did it based on an allegation. What stops Oommen Chandy from stepping down based on a very, very serious allegation?
This is not an allegation. This is a mischievous script written down during election time. I am repeating it. This is pure election drama enacted by a lady who's been jailed, who just come out, and you believe her?
So you accept all the wrongdoing by Shashi Tharoor, by Pawan Bansal, by Ashwini Kumar at that time? Why did they resign?
Look at the situation here. Here's a charge being made by a lady who's just come out of jail. A week back, the Chief Minister says...
A trail that leads all the way to the CM's office, which is why it needs a serious probe. A judicial commission is looking at it.
That's what I said. There are cameras all over the place. Is there any documentation?
Well, look, you and I aren't the judges. There is a commission looking at it. But my question is that if it is about propriety, shouldn't he step down till the probe is over?
All morals apply to the Congress party. Here is the issue about Vyapam which you mentioned.
No. Now you're... what about Vyapam? What about Lalit Modi?
Exactly.
Let's talk about solar.
I'm talking about our Chief Minister. We know and believe that the Chief Minister is innocent. Judiciary is going to establish it and it's already established.
Okay.
So let us go by that road.
All right. I'm going to go across to Mr. M.A. Baby.
I want to say, Nidhi.
Yes, Shaina.
We talked about perception versus reality. There seems to be so much reality here that the Congress chooses not to address it, which is their own prerogative. But when they talk about, the various cases that they want to highlight, I can only say they beat us leaps and bounds when it comes to corruption, when it comes to substantiated evidence to prove the corruption. They again go into denial mode. I only want to say that if Ms. Nair stands by the courage of conviction with which she has for so long, even before the opposition or anyone demanded Mr. Chandy's resignation, it shows you that there is substantiated evidence from all quarters to suggest the kind of money that was given to his officials.
What are the
his power
quarters?
minister,
Where is it coming
etc.
from? This is not a Jumla politics. This is hardcore evidence.
If you'd like to...
Well,
if
look,
you'd like to
it's being
suggest that this is
investigated.
some scripted story, I think it's most
There is
unfortunate.
a commission sitting there,
But
China.
Neerja, before we go across to Mr. Baby, the problem is that one of the big reasons why the Congress lost in 2014 was this whole battle around corruption, the perception of corruption, in the party and the highest echelons of government. So this is actually the party's worst nightmare, isn't it? At this point, to see its leaders again, getting dragged into all of this before elections.
That's absolutely true. I want to make one or 2 points. One, this has been brewing in Kerala. The High Command has not acted in time. It's only when water goes over the head that the Congress party reacts. I mean, that's number one. Same thing in Arunachal. The whole drama got enacted. 21 MLAs were, switched side. But the High Command reacted by going to court at the end of a whole series of events. That's one point. Number two, I think the BJP has no right to demand the resignation. Otherwise, Sushma Swaraj, Vasundhara Raje Scindia, even Arun Jaitley in the DDCA, allegations were made, should have resigned. When you are talking about ministers, it's true by their own standards, Pawan Bansal, as you say, Ashwini Kumar, Shashi Tharoor did resign. And in fact, BJP ministers, after they took part in 14, said we are not going to make the mistakes that the Congress made. Otherwise, it's a slippery slope. Now, you and I may want moral accountability for public figures to take responsibility. But politically, BJP has no right to ask. You and I have a right to ask this. But I think in this case, given the credibility or the lack of credibility of the person making the accusation, we should wait for a little longer for more evidence to come.
Shaina, I'll take that back to you. What Neer just said, that is there a level of hypocrisy in the BJP asking for Mr. Chandy to resign when a probe is still underway? None of the ministers named in all the various scandals last year in the BJP regime have resigned. I've named them earlier.
I think, Nidhi, there's substantiated evidence and there is evidence which is produced in a court of law for the courts to decide. If a lower court gives a judgment but the higher court gives a different judgment, and if there is some kind of vigilance intact to suggest that there are contradictory claims, I think that it's only imperative for law to take its course. That's the fundamental point. You said that BJP doesn't lead by example. I'd like to cite so many examples, whether it's an LK Advani in the Hawala scam or so many other tall leaders who chose. But if it is a conspiracy where it's just one party trying to target our leadership with no substantiated evidence, I don't think there is need to fall into the trap of any political party. So it's not the political parties that are demanding this. This is normal citizens who have been agitating for the longest time, and agitating not just now during election time but way before, to suggest how his government has exploited them of monies for works which have obviously been substantiated with all kinds of paper.